All right, some members in the New York congressional delegation are still not sold on this tax cut that will be debuted in detail tomorrow. Obviously, from those high state or high tax states, the concern is whatever cut they get in the aggregate, or whatever the rate goes down to for various income groups, it's dwarfed and doesn't come close to compensating for losing state and property and taxes that could be lost as a result. Charlie Gasparino is here. What are you hearing on that front?
Well, there could be a compromise on that. You have to pay for that compromise, meaning that a compromise would be like something like if you earn $300,000 or less in income, you get some of the write-offs for state and local taxes. And here's one of the issues that's dangling out there where a lot of congressional aides I talk to in the GOP are talking about a potential compromise, watering down. And this is not going to be popular in a lot of places on my Twitter feed. People are going nuts. It's a watering down of the small business tax cut. Okay, that's known as the subchapter S corporations. Mm-hmm. Under the plan, they wanted to take it down. The tax they wanted to do the tax reduction from 39.5%, in the highest individual rate, bring it down to 25%. Now, here's what the GOP leadership is talking about. I'm getting this from GOP congressional aides who are in the meeting, so they're discussing this. They're talking about bringing the rate down to 25% for only 30% of the sort of income of these subchapter S corps, meaning the 70% of their income essentially gets taxed at the regular rate at 39%. Now, there could be a blended rate, would be something like 30%, but I'm just telling you that that's
not originally as advertised.
Not originally as advertised.
There's a lot of watering down going on here.
It looks like
this is all about to pay for it, right?
To pay for, this is the way it's been told to me from congressional aides, to pay for a potential compromise on the SALT deduction, the state and local tax deduction, and to pay for the bigger corporate tax cut, which they're looking now, obviously, to take it down from 35%, as the president said.
And not phase it in.
And not phase it in. They got a lot of backlash on that. But this is key. I mean, listen, I think a lot of small businesses, there's obviously some scandals and some fudging here on, what is a pass-through. Like, you don't want to give this tax break to law firms, right? You want real companies that produce things and hire people to get this tax break. But if they're going to screw small businesses for large corporations and for the SALT deduction, it's going to be a heavy lift. I'm telling you, that's why this is where it gets really interesting. And I think one of the problems with the GOP tax plan, like reforming Obamacare, is they had a great blueprint outline, and the administration allowed the details like this to get hammered out by Congress, and that's when you get this sort of crazy stuff.
And the president then has got to sign on to this, because the last thing they need is him going off to Asia saying, I don't like this, or this.
Well,
that could be a nightmare.
Well, presumably, this is being worked out with Steve Mnuchin and Gary Cohn.
Who are staying behind.
They're not going to Asia. So here's what I would just say. This is a fairly big story. Watch subchapter S corps, that's small businesses. By the way, a lot of our viewers own these small businesses. You may not be getting that big tax cut that as advertised.
And we also know that the upper income, they're not going to get a big tax cut.
You see, I would say this, Neil. If they did nothing on the individual side,
right,
and they did cut corporate taxes and subchapter S,
better than what we got now.
Markets go up big time.